It smells really good. I'm sure it's going to taste pretty good as well. That's delicious. You can really taste the basil and the lemon and the cinnamon as well. Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make my delicious fragrant tuna fish cakes. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make a really delicious fragrant tuna fish cake. So it's quite a warm day in the UK, and this is a brilliant dish to have on a warm day because you can prepare everything early on and then just put it all in the fridge and then cook it off later in the afternoon, so you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen in the heat in the afternoon, if you know what I mean. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have put a small saucepan and I'm going to put this onto a high heat on my hob, and then I am going to add a little bit of oil to the base of this pan, and I'm going to leave this pan to heat up. The pan is starting to get hot, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of stalks of basil. So basically what I did is I removed the basil from the plant by the stalk, and then I just took off the leaves and I've just chopped the basil into tiny little pieces, and I'm going to pop those into the frying pan, and those are basil stalks in there, and I'm just going to fry these for a few seconds, about 20 to 30 seconds or so, until the oil is starting to get fragranced with the basil. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I've got ground sweet cinnamon here, but you could use ordinary ground cinnamon if you wanted to. And I'm just going to fry that off like so in the oil. And then I'm going to add in some onions. So I've got one red onion here that I've just simply peeled, sliced and diced. And I'm going to pop that into my frying pan like so, and I'm going to fry that in the oil with the basil stalks and the cinnamon as well. I'm going to fry this until it starts to soften. But before I go, I just wanted to say that if you have enjoyed this video today and you'd like to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you did really enjoy this video today, then please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. Everything like that really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. Yes, as I said, I'm going to continue to fry the onion until it starts to soften. Fry the onions until they started to soften, and they're starting to go a lovely golden brown colour now. You do want them to soften because later on when you bake off the tuna fish cakes, this part won't, they only go in for 15 minutes, so you want the onions really nice and soft so that they just sort of melt when they go in the oven basically. I am going to set this aside now. I'm just going to turn the heat off for a moment, and then what I've got here is a saucepan. So I've got another large saucepan, and I'm going to put this onto a high heat. I'm going to add cold water to this because I have learned in recent months that when cooking vegetables that cook below the ground, you cook them in cold water, and when cooking vegetables that grow above the ground, you cook them in hot water, which I never knew. So I'm going to get on and throw the potatoes in. Now this recipe normally serves 4. In the original recipe it serves 4, but I'm doing it for 2 today. So I've got about 400 grams of potatoes. I'm just going to pop into the cold water like so. And I'm going to go and get myself a bit of salt as well. So I've grabbed my salt, and I'm just going to add salt to this. And I'm going to bring this saucepan to the boil, and then I will leave it to simmer for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Now you want the potatoes to be sort of forkful but not too soft, because otherwise they'll be quite slimy when you put them together. So you want them sort of Still slightly hard, I would say. I must get a ricer for these recipes because I think a ricer would help when it comes to mashing the potatoes. But anyway, as I said, I have 400 grams in there, but in the original recipe I said to use 800 grams to a kilo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the lid on the top of this saucepan and I'm going to leave it to come to the boil. I've realised you might not have seen any of the last bit of the video there because the camera was pointing to this ring on the hob and not this ring. So I'm going to tell you again. Basically, I chopped up some potatoes. I put some cold water into a saucepan because potatoes are grown underground. So vegetables grown underground go in cold water and vegetables growing above ground go in hot water. So I put the cold water in and I've brought the pan to the boil and I'm just going to turn the heat down and I'm going to leave these to simmer for about 5 minutes now. Oh no, I won't do that because you won't be able to hear me. So I'm just going to leave these to simmer, force of habit, until they're kind of forkful. You still want them slightly hard because you don't want them to go too mushy because when you mash them and bring them together they'll be a bit mushy. So you want the potatoes to be slightly hard but not too hard. You want to still be able to mash them. So I'm going to leave these for 5 minutes, and if they are forkful after 5 minutes I will take them off and drain them through a colander. If not, I'll leave them for a further couple of minutes, but we'll see when we get to 5 minutes. The potatoes have been simmering for a good 5 minutes and they are falling off the fork as I speak. So I'm going to remove these from the heat now and I am going to leave them to cool for a little while and then I will start to assemble the tuna fish cakes. I've drained the potatoes through a colander and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the onions that I fried off earlier. So I'm just going to add those to the saucepan, and then I'm also going to add about 2 tablespoons of tomato puree as well. So I'm just going to pop that in, and then I'm also going to add the juice of 1 whole lemon to that, and this is the fragrant part of the tuna fish cakes. And then I'm also going to add some chopped up basil. So the basil that I took from the stalks earlier, I've just chopped it up. And I'm going to pop that in as well. And then I'm just going to mash those ingredients together, like so. And then, once these are all nicely mashed, I shall be adding in the tuna. And this recipe, I normally make as Jamie tuna pasta, which I think I've done a video on. But I will link the recipe in the description box below. It is normally a pasta recipe, but I decided one day to try it with potato and it was delicious. So I thought I would share the recipe with you, obviously. And of course I will put the recipe in the description box below for you as well. And if you have any questions on that recipe, then please feel free to leave them in the comments section below too. And then I'm just going to add in the tuna as well, and I'm just going to mix that in with the potatoes using the masher like so. And then once I've mashed all of these together, I will grab a plate and I'll dampen my hands and I will start to form the burgers. But I just want to mash those together like so. So that's perfect now, like that. Just all mashed together, so I'm off to get a plate and dampen my hands as well. I also forgot that you can add cheese to this recipe as well. Now I can't have cheese because I have a slight dairy intolerance, so I'm actually using just a little bit of nutritional yeast. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So if you wanted to, then you could use cheddar or parmesan for this recipe as well. I'm just going to mash this into the mixture as well. And I think in the original recipe I said about 80 grams, but that serves 4, and obviously I'm making this for 2. And also with the tuna, you can use 2 to 4 tins of tuna. So depending on how much you like tuna, then depends on how much you would use in your dinner, obviously. So As I said, I'm off to get a plate and dampen my hands. I have grabbed myself a plate and I've also dampened my hands, and I'm going to split this mixture into 4 parts, and I'm going to make about 4 burgers or fish cakes. So it'll be 2 each for my husband and myself tonight. So I'm going to just shape that into a burger and just put it on the plate like so, and then I'm going to do the same again with the next piece of mixture that I've picked up. So I'm just going to shape it into a burger like so, and then I'm going to put this onto a plate. And as you can see, my hands haven't got, I was about to say what my dad says, my hands never left my body. Sorry, terrible joke, stop laughing, Dad. So as you can see, my hands haven't got that messy because I've dampened them before I put them into the mixture. So I'm just going to continue to make these burgers until I've used up all of the mixture. I have finished making the burgers and I'm going to put these into the fridge now for about 6 hours. You could make these the day before and store them in the fridge overnight, or you could make these a couple of hours before you want to eat them and just store them in the fridge as well. I would recommend that you do store them in the fridge for a little while, because when they go into a hot oven, the outside will hopefully become nice and crispy and the inside will be lovely and soft and fluffy. So yes, as I said, I'm off to put these into the fridge for about 6 hours. The oven is preheated. I preheated it earlier to 200 degrees and I put a baking tray in at the same time, so that when I put the fish cakes into the baking tray, hopefully the outside will become lovely and crispy and the inside will be lovely and soft and fluffy, as I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to put these into the oven now for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until they've gone a lovely golden brown colour. The fish cakes have cooked and they've gone a lovely golden brown colour, so I'm going to take these out of the oven and I'm going to serve them up, and I'll try one and let you know how it tastes, but they smell so good right now. As promised, I'm going to try a little bit of this now. It smells really good. I'm sure it's going to taste really good as well. That's delicious. You can really taste the basil and the lemon and the cinnamon as well. That is yummy. So I'm really looking forward to having this for my dinner this evening. That's how you make these delicious fish cakes, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be having these for our dinner this evening and they smell and taste so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye!